Hello, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. My name is Kimberly Trong, and I am the head of social media here at Duda. I'm going to give some people the opportunity to continue to join us here as we get settled. In the meantime, where are folks from? Let us know in the chat. I'd love to hear what part of the world you're in, maybe what company you're at, maybe your industry. Let us know. Tel Aviv representing, yep, great. If you have just joined, my name is Kimberly. I'm head of social media here at Duda. I'm here to welcome you, open up our exciting webinar with Andy Crestodina. But I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to just get settled. In the meantime, I'd love to know where you're logging in from, what part of the world, your industry, anything. Let me know in the chat. And hopefully you guys enjoy my animated GIF here that I've chosen. Took a lot of digging to find this one.
That's the original, Kimberly. That's the 1977 episode 4.
OG,
Star
baby.
Wars: A
OG.
New Hope. That's right. That would be Princess Leia joining the webinar from Alderaan, which is where she's from originally, but that shot was, of course, taken on the Death Star.
Now you're hardcore. That's a hardcore fan right there.
I'm actually not. I knew that much.
I don't know. That was a lot. I would have never been able to.
Alderaan, right? Like that's the planet they blew up or something, or the moon, or I don't know. I'm not a big Star Wars fan generally. I was as a kid, but.
Guys, this is not a Star Wars webinar, I know. However, we're giving people a few minutes to join the webinar, get settled in. In the meantime, I guess we'll talk about Star Wars. You can also let us know where you're from in the chat. Send it to us. Let us know what part of the world you are logging in from. Unsolicited recommendation, The Mandalorian is very good. While we're on the topic of Star Wars, really enjoyed that show. Highly recommend. I know this is not that kind of podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, you brought the gift, so.
Yeah. I did bring the gift. I always bring the gifts.
Kimberly, where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, I knew that.
Yeah, so.
I'm in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, and this is an international group, for sure, right?
For sure. Yeah, we already have someone from Tel Aviv raising their hand, letting us know where they're from. All right, folks, I'll give it another minute and then we'll move on and get this party started.
Pretty excited about this.
Me too. I think it's going to be I saw a preview of Andy's presentation. It is very good. It's very insightful, very practical too. So I'm very excited for us to share this information with you all. Alrighty, folks, it is 5 minutes past the hour. Let's go ahead and get rolling. So again, if you have just joined, my name is Kimberly. I am from Duda. I am joined by the lovely Andy Crestodina of Orbit Media Studios, and we're so excited to talk to you today about your websites and how we can really ensure that you are doing the most to convert people who land on your websites. So I found this, again, me digging through the internet, I found this great meme that truly delivers. I think good content, it's the source of everything. It's the foundation of everything. I think oftentimes with web design, we want to go and create all these templates and make it beautiful, but we often forget, not even necessarily forget, but don't always give as much love to content. So we're going to focus on that today with Andy. Just real quick, who is Duda? What is Duda? Duda is what we call the professional website builder you can call your own. And what do we mean by that? We basically mean we are here for the web professional. We are the web professional's website builder. Whether you're a web developer, web designer, you work at an agency, freelancer, consultant, we are here to cater to you and your needs. We also serve SaaS platforms, but we are truly the web designers platform. Now, building pretty websites is no longer enough, and we are going to get into that. Content really is the make or break of your conversion rate. And so, Andy, I'm going to pass it over to you, make you our presenter.
Sounds good. I'm going to click this button here and share my second screen, and then go into, let me try to minimize that. Go into presentation mode, and Kimberly, can you see that?
I can. I will
Great.
hide myself so that people are attentive to you.
Thank you. I love this. I love to teach, and I love this topic. My name is Andy Crestodina. I'm one of the co-founders of a web development company called Orbit Media Studios, founded 20 years ago here in Chicago. Today it is a 44-person, $6 million a year agency that is almost 100% based on building websites. Not really an agency, basically like a web dev firm. And so I've done 20 years of search optimization, 20 years of analytics, and 20 years of website planning, more than 1,000 projects. It is a lot. I'm often touching 2 to 3 projects a day, and I've been doing this for many, many years. So I'm going to give you now my best advice for the fastest way to get better results from any website without increasing traffic, simply by improving the conversion rate. You can think of it this way. For search, in this example, our job is to build a bridge from a traffic source to a thank you page. That's the game. That's what digital marketing is. I find myself saying that in a lot of meetings. Steal that line, or any line, anything that you have. Take these slides, use them in your presentations, borrow, steal like an artist. You are welcome to use all of this content in your business however you'd like, forever. We'll be sharing everything. So yeah, our job is to build a bridge, right? Because the thank you page is the conversion. It's the point at which the person took action. Conversion, as in you'd use a different noun to describe them now. They were a visitor, now they're a lead, or a customer, or a donor, or an event registrant, or the content conversions, a subscriber, right? We all converted here. We're all webinar registrants. And then there's also just followers, fans, job applicants. So the two numbers that determine return on investment in digital marketing are the total number of qualified visitors coming in the top of the funnel and the percentage of people who take action coming out at the bottom of the funnel. That's lead generation, or in e-commerce, it's customers, or often for nonprofits, it's a donor, whatever the goal is. So fundamentally, if you try to teach analytics in one slide, it would look something like this. Traffic times the conversion rate equals success, equals demand, equals revenue, equals marketing qualified leads, MQLs. So everyone talks a lot about search optimization. Not that many people talk about conversion optimization, right? Search optimization is just a very popular term, trending in Google all the time. It's literally 10x the demand for people searching for for search optimization over conversion. If you add SEO to this mix, it's like a fraction of 1%. How come no one talks about conversion? Why is conversion why do we need to teach our clients the meaning of this word, conversion rate optimization, or the purpose, the psychology of visitors, why people take action? All the traffic in the world does not create any demand if the percentage of people who take action is 0, right? We need both the cheese and the mousetrap. Millions of visitors, conversion rate of 0, you catch no mice, right? So we can get better results for anybody without doing more social media, email marketing, search optimization, advertising, paid social, whatever, just by improving the conversion rates. And improving conversion rates is actually pretty low-hanging fruit, because in a lot of cases, it does not take design changes. The changes to the things that affect conversion rate are very durable, right? Improve a call to action, it stays there for everyone who comes to the page forever after. Other traffic sources, you got to keep working hard to keep increasing traffic from those. Those are more activity-based. Conversion rate stuff is like set it and forget it. Why do people convert? Why don't people convert? Jacob Nielsen is one of the best sources on this. nngroup.com is where he does most of his research. He's been doing this stuff since the 90s. Without doing a deep dive, I'll jump to the chase. I'll skip to the chase. The conclusion of all of his research over decades is that the reason why people don't take action on websites is that there's missing information. The problem is findability. It's not that the design isn't pretty enough. In fact, fancy design was a reason for failure. The reason why people convert is because that page addressed their concerns, it answered their questions, it overcame their objections, and they felt enough confidence to take action. Of course, it needs to be pretty enough to keep the visitor trusting that this is a legit business. But the main reason why all of us, not just them, but anybody, go look at your own browsing history, take action or don't is because there was a piece of information missing, or when looking at the information, we found it wasn't a fit. So my framework for maximizing conversion rates for any website, any industry, B2B, B2C, consultative offers, transactional offers, whatever the case, is to understand first the mindset of this visitor, the questions, give answers for those questions, provide evidence to support the answers, clear, compelling, specific calls to action. I'm going to go through this really quick, and then we're going to have a live review of some websites to make it real. So the reason why people do convert is because the page satisfied their information needs. To Kimberly's point, it's about content. So think of it this way, and another line I find myself saying a lot, you're welcome to borrow and use in any meeting you like. There is a true story in the life of every visitor to every web page. And our job as the creator of that page, both the container and the content, right? The design and the content, is to understand their information needs, the rough priority of those needs, and to build a page that anticipates their questions and objections, guiding them through a series of messages that build their clarity, that build their confidence. Dave is a systems engineer. He buys technology for a financial firm. That's where he works. He looks kind of cranky. Why? Because he got hacked recently. So what does he need? He needs to narrow down the options for some better technology. He doesn't like cloud-based stuff at this moment. I'm totally making this up, but it's an easy example. Does it integrate with my stuff? What are the service level agreements? Are they going to support me? We can show him uptime statistics. We can build confidence. We can schedule a demo with Dave. So his question is, for example, in this case, can I put this behind my firewall? I want on-premises hosting. The answer is, it's a cloud or on-premises, whatever options you like. Our evidence to support those answers is logos of the other financial firms that use it. The call to action is a talk to an expert, right? Schedule a time. So now I'm going to show you how this happens, where we are going to make him more likely to get to that goal by adding answers and reducing uncertainty. That's the game, right? This is like, it's like vector geometry from high school. You got to like make this one arrow bigger and stronger, make the other arrow smaller and weaker to get the little character to move over to the goal. We're going to do that just by doing some qualitative research up front, which we begin every website project. We do 50 projects a year. We average, 50, 75, 100K websites, some smaller, many bigger. We always start with this one step. What are the needs of the visitor? What can we ask the clients? Can we talk directly to your audience? Can we talk directly to your sales reps? And we ask questions like this. Take me back to that moment when you first realized you needed help. What was that trigger? What else did you try? What didn't you love about it? What almost kept you from buying from us? What made you confident enough to give us a try? Why was this the best option for you? When evaluating your choices, what was the most important thing? What can you do now, or what can you do better that you couldn't do before? Can you give me an example of when this made a difference for you? Might elicit a testimonial. If you couldn't work with us again, what would you miss the most? And what is the number one thing that you would tell a friend if you wanted to convince them to hire us? I collected those questions over many years going to conversion conferences. Yes, it's an industry. There's books about it, blogs about it, there's influencers, and there are events. I've been to lots of these events, and the sessions are very similar sometimes, right? It's just people showing how they do the qualitative research so they can go construct this page. Next, we're going to talk to the sales reps. What questions are you just sick and tired of answering? What should people ask you, but they never ask you, right? That's like the Challenger sale. Good book. Marketers should read sales books. The Challenger sale. What is the aha moment that prospects have during sales calls? What analogies do you use to describe to explain what we do? What big numbers can we get up to build credibility? Help me come up with some big numbers. And finally, fill in this blank. People can work with us even if they blank, right? I need to do objection handling. Now, I've got a bunch of content basically, right, from the audience themselves. I'm going to combine those with specific grammatical forms. I learned this from Joanna Wiebe. Jo Wiebe is the founder of Copy Hackers. She has incredible content. She has certifications, I think. There's like courses you can take on her site. She understands psychology and cognitive bias and constructs content, messages, grammatical forms, emails, landing pages that specifically trigger certain biases to maximize conversion rates. Words like because. We offer on-site installs because, right? It sounds rational. Should make the reader feel exclusively empowered. You should have access to your data anytime from anywhere. Already, still, you already have upgraded your network, but you're still having performance issues. The fact is, and the truth is, people want to feel like they're rational decision makers. In fact, we're really not. Even if you still have access, even if your services are on site, right? That's objection handling. So now I'm ready to go make my page. If I didn't do that first, I would not know how to make a web page. Literally, I can. My team, myself, no one here at Orbit can build a page until we've done that. We don't know how. It doesn't make sense. There's no way to do it. If we do that first, we actually, it's not less conversion copywriting isn't quite what you might think. It's actually just using the language of the audience. The audience themselves are sort of writing the copy. So when we asked that question, when evaluating options, what was most important? Oh, security was number one, followed by scalability. Great, now we know how to construct this page. The order of the page blocks on these service pages is not arbitrary. It is specifically designed to guide their eyes, right? It's a giant Jedi mind trick. Kimberly does a Star Trek reference. Conversion is a Jedi mind trick. You're controlling their eyes through visual hierarchy, whereby they see a series of messages that align with the priority of that visitor in their experience, in their life, in the story of their life. Can you give me an example of when this helped? Oh yeah, you really saved my bacon. Quote, you really saved my bacon. Look, that's social proof. I can't write copy that good, right? It's disarmingly forthright because the audience wrote it themselves. That's a testimonial. What was the biggest problem you're trying to solve? Oh, I wanted better insights, not just more dashboards. You already have dashboards. You're still not getting insights. You can imagine how this page is going to start building trust, right? We're reading their mind. What can you do now that you couldn't do before? Oh, now I don't have to run that damn report every time. Stop running the same reports again and again. Let's talk to sales. What analogies do you use? On-site installation. It's like owning your own home. Wow, that sounds good. It's like your house. You should own your own home. Should. See that? What's the biggest number we can get up to, guys? Well, there's 200 installations, but if you add up all the users on all those installations, I guess there's like probably 14,000, trusted by 14,000 professionals. What questions are you tired of answering? Oh, people constantly want to know if they can cancel their contract. Yes, you can cancel your damn contract. Look at it. It cancel anytime. Wait, we didn't put that in our marketing. We need to put that in our marketing. Cancel anytime. What questions should people ask but they don't? Prospects never ask about testing and documentation. The fact is 80% of software installs are never fully tested. See how I use the fact is? So what we do before building a page is we make a tiny persona. We call it a conversion guide, where we take each target audience and we list out their questions and our answers to those questions. Then we list the supportive elements, we'll get into that in a second, and the key pages, where in the end, we are building a user flow designed to guide this visitor through the funnel. Each page builds the case. Each page block builds the case. So here's you're getting these slides, anatomy of a perfect, so-called perfect B2B service page. Go look at any page on your site, any of your client sites, and ask yourself if you missed anything. We'll look at some real examples and I'll show them to you. I made that easier to look at just right here in a simple list. Yes, you're getting the slides. We'll look at this together in a moment. This is why you have a website. This is the purpose. This is why visitors visit websites. Go look at your own history. Again, you'll see that the reason why you went to all those sites you visited was not to see how pretty they were. It was to get information, to see if that would help you, right? Is this a viable option for me? In other words, FAQ content. They ask, you answer. Marcus Sheridan has been saying this for years. He finally wrote a book called They Ask, You Answer. Looking at the pages, there's some couple things that have to work well. First, the page needs to tell the visitor that they're in the right place by passing the so-called backyard barbecue test. If I met you at a barbecue and I say, what do you do for a living? And you say, oh, I prove the impossible wrong. What? Huh? I don't know what that means. I'd have to ask you a subsequent question. What do you do for a living? I have the agility to plan for all futures. What? I don't know what that means. People write clever headlines instead of clear headlines, and it's to the detriment of conversion because the visitor doesn't care about this tagline marketing copy stuff. They want to know that they want information, build capability, deliver results. So what? What does this company do? They pioneer a better way. That's meaningless to the visitor. They're just going to scroll past it. It's not supportive of any of your goals or theirs. On the other hand, if you just simply say what you do in your headline, yes, there's plenty of chance to differentiate later on this page. Online class management software. Aha! Good for visitors, also good for SEO. And it's important partly because visitors to homepages tend not to scroll. Maybe 27% of visitors are scrolling on homepages at all. I know this only because I have tons of clients on Hotjar, which has scroll heat maps. I took out a ton of B2B homepages and made them all semi-transparent on top of each other in Photoshop to find an aggregate, sort of a composite scroll heat map. Typical fold. Most visitors to most homepages simply go straight to the main nav. That's fine. It's not that, you know, it doesn't mean we should make short homepages. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't care about what's below. 27% of visitors is a lot of visitors, but it emphasizes the importance of the backyard barbecue test and descriptive navigation labels. Say what you do in your navigation labels. Products, services, about, blog, contact. That is generic to millions of websites. Why didn't you indicate any relevance in your navigation labels? Why did you choose something that was totally undifferentiated that said nothing to the visitor until they clicked, right? Far better to be descriptive in the navigation. Visitors are going to almost always quickly look at the main nav to see where they are, to see where they need to go. The goal of the homepage, after all, is to get the visitor off of the homepage. That's the purpose of your homepage, is to get the visitor deeper into the site. Every click is segmentation. When they click on something, now we know more about what is the true story in the life of this visitor. They told us, websites are like live running polls. They click on something, now we know who they are. We can talk to them more specifically, address their needs more directly, higher chance of conversion. Specificity, right? We're trying to help them find what they want fast so that we can give them what we know that they need so that they can make a good choice and either qualify or disqualify us. Product, services, about, blog, contact doesn't help that at all. You can always put your page, by the way, into, take a screenshot, upload it to Usability Hub, and then you can ask a question to 20 or 50 people to see what they say after seeing that screenshot for 5 seconds. What does this company do? We put your people first. Huh? What does this company do? Not sure. Put people first. Not a clue. Unsure. Healthcare. Put people. No one could tell, right? This failed at the 5-second test. The alternate version, leadership coaching and training for mid-level managers. Everybody knew what it did. It passed the 5-second test. So the other thing that, moving right along, I want to point out also that we can improve conversion rates by adding evidence, reasons to believe, and reducing uncertainty. In fact, most pages are piles of unsupported marketing claims because they have no evidence to support those answers you just gave. A great page answers the anticipated question, evidence to support that answer. Answers the next anticipated question, evidence to support that answer. This evidence can come in 2 forms. One is there's qualitative and quantitative, the big evidence and the little evidence. The big evidence is numbers, and it appeals to the mind with reason. Years in business, percentage increase, ROI, number of happy clients, top selling. That actually is less compelling than the qualitative evidence, which is appealing to the heart with emotion. Stories, case studies, testimonials. You know, there's characters involved. You know, that's just kind of how the human brain works. Numbers are never. There's certain personality types that want to see content, right? Want to see data. But testimonials, if I could only choose between having, you know, data or testimonials as supportive evidence, I would definitely choose the testimonial. But there's lots of pixels on these pages, plenty of room for both. Got room for data, 41%. That's the average increase in conversion rate from a website, typical website that we build. Testimonials, again, it's like a story. It's got a character, but they're done badly everywhere. First of all, if you want the scan reader to slow down and read your testimonial, you need to take the most compelling 5 or 7 words out of the testimonial and make it a little header, make it a subhead, right? Now the scan reader is more likely to see that. Put it in quotes. Instead of saying what our clients say, just make that the header of the testimonial, right? The most important thing should also be the most visually prominent thing. That's really, really important. Look at any scroll depth. is the most important thing also the most visually prominent thing? If you've got a giant header that says testimonial and your little testimonials are tiny underneath, that's the opposite of what I'm suggesting, right? The most compelling thing is that tiny is the 6 words at the bottom of that testimonial. Make that the most visually prominent thing, replacing the big thing with the compelling thing. A lot of examples on digital, like these should just be flipped. Is the most compelling thing on this page also the most visually prominent thing? Is the most compelling thing at this scroll depth also the most visually prominent thing? That's what the idea is behind using a subhead for testimonials. Finally, the face, the name. Key phrase-based testimonials are good for SEO. I recommend against making a testimonials page for one simple reason. They're never very popular. People don't go to testimonials pages as much as other pages because they don't expect that page to satisfy their information needs, right? What's the true story in life of this visitor? Oh, they can't wait to read a testimonial. Nobody does that, right? So it's not that the testimonials page itself is bad, but I highly recommend just making every page a testimonials page, putting the evidence that supports the answer close to the answer, right? Put billboards on highways. If your website were a city, there'd be a highway flowing through it. There is a top path on every website. Just look it up in analytics. That's like a highway. Now, are your best videos, your best evidence, your best content, your most important answers also on that most popular path? If not, surface these things, just like I was saying, the most visually prominent place. Also, maybe not obvious, every message has a messenger, and you are the worst messenger, and text is the worst format. We're number 1, on time, every time, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's expected. Visitors just scan right past that. But when your customer says it, it's social proof. Everything you say is marketing. Everything they say is social proof, right? Trust seals are helpful. That's a third-party endorsement, and it's visual. But the ultimate is when it's a video and when it's the customer's voice themselves. The video testimonial is like one of the most compelling formats for content, messenger, message, and format. And it's just an amazing way to support the conversion rate of any site. Great investment. So ask this question, who's the best messenger for this message? Not always obvious. Who's the best messenger? Finally, just with a few minutes left before we look at the live website reviews, I'm going to do calls to action. So we're now at the bottom of the format. We understood their information needs. We know why they might not convert. We know what's most important to them in what order. We know their objections. We're using grammatical forms that trigger their cognitive biases. And we're adding evidence in each place, adding evidence to support these answers. We've got a nice visual hierarchy. Finally, it's time for the call to action. Research shows that specificity drives conversions. Michael Lagarde found this years ago. When he changed create my account to create account and get started, 31% increase in conversion rate, just by adding a few words. When he changed get your membership to find your gym and get membership, 213% increase in click-through rate, just by adding a few words. So these big calls to action are performing very well. Why you're on this page about conversions? Why are you on this page? Well, you care about conversion rate. So what's a good call to action? Increase my conversion rate, right? Basically, nobody clicks or taps on anything in digital, in life, anywhere, until they've concluded that the benefit of clicking outweighs the cost. Everybody, all of us, all the time, we are doing split-second cost-benefit calculations in our brains prior to clicking or tapping on anything. That is one of the keys to building high-performing websites, is to understand that that's why the descriptive navigation labels are effective, right? That's why social media videos are compelling, right? There's a lot of reasons why, and examples of how we all do split-second cost-benefit calculations prior to taking an action. Because if the return sounds like it's bigger than the investment, we're more likely to do that, bringing us closer to the thing. So a bad call to action just says, do the thing. A better call to action says that the thing is valuable, do this valuable thing, or that the thing is easy, do the easy thing. I can either make the R bigger or the I smaller. I have 2 ways to manipulate the mind of the visitor in the moment. This is done through direct mail. I'm like the millionth person to suggest these things, yet you can tell the sites we're going to look at, this is done badly or not done at all. Where people just say like download ebook. No, download it and solve these problems. Or download it instantly and start reading now. Look, the investment's lower. It's going to happen immediately. There's no time required. Contact us is not a call to action, right? Get in touch and start improving your click-through rates today. You're not going to love this, designers, because I'm calling for longer button text. It's going to look weird on mobile. It's going to wrap. Or if you're not spending money, just talk to an expert. Talk to an expert about your conversion rates. So I'm going to just jump to the end. I'm so excited to do these. There's more in this deck. I'll show you. I recommend going through that. There wasn't time to do all this plus the live website reviews. But final point, if your site is missing answers, it's just unsatisfying. If your site is missing evidence, it's weak. You didn't support it. It's not strong. And if there aren't calls to action, it's just not compelling. You're not guiding the visitor through. You're not suggesting. You're not asking for the sale or for the click or for the conversion. So really, what is an FAQ page except important information out of context? You put literally the answers to the frequently asked questions on a page with a navigation label FAQ. What, you expect them to just click on that and then scan through all those questions and try to find, you know, the thing that was relevant to the page they were on a second before? And the testimonials page, what is a testimonials page? Is important evidence out of context, right? So I've done this session with different groups. I'm a mentor at a local incubator here in Chicago. This is a website that we reviewed during one of their sessions. Like Speako, be ready for your big moment. Start your free trial. What the heck is this thing? New secret weapon for personal and professional success. I can't even tell. A day after giving this presentation, they sent me this screenshot. Speako, the #1 app for public speaking. Look at the call to action. Start sounding like a leader. Immediate improvement in conversion rates. It's passing the backyard barbecue test. It's managing the visual hierarchy. It's got specificity and calls to action. It's got evidence. It's the #1 app. So these are big, big impact. It can make a big difference. This video literally shows Google Analytics in real time. Someone's on my web design page. You can see down here. This is like, and they move to the About page, which is an important page for conversion. It's the page where you need to talk about your history, yourself. You know, be a person, be vulnerable, keep it real, be human. And then you can see they go to the contact form. I have captured for you Google Analytics real time, the actual moment of conversion. I'm sweating bullets watching this as it happened. I'm like, why aren't you converting? Come on. I'm trying to capture like the birth of a lead here. And like, what question didn't I answer? You know, what evidence didn't I supply? They're on the contact page. Like, are they ever going to, there, that was the moment. Now they're on the thank you page. That is the moment. It happens a million times a day. It's very common, but it's not simple. We need to do a lot of little things. That was the birth of a lead. So it gives me a chance to throw in my kid pics. Wow, Kimberly, I actually held it down to 30 minutes. I had to cut some stuff, but I'm ready to jump in with the live website reviews. Thank you for the volunteers in advance. Shall we start the next step?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. While you're getting, transitioning, I just want to say that we have a lot of great feedback coming through, some good questions. I quote, "This is gold." Vincent says, "This is gold." Matthew says, "This is good." So we're having a good time. And again, guys, if you have questions, just leave them in the question section. Sorry about the chats. Miscommunication earlier. I was wrong.
No, this is excellent. Yeah, I'm excited to do this now. I cut out stuff because this time is precious. We have just 30 minutes to do actual live website reviews. So these are the volunteers. I have like 5 or 6 of them. I'm just going to go through, without having done that qualitative research of interviews, I'm going to look at these and give you my heuristic, as in best practices, rule of thumb review of these things. Again, having been part of the planning process for many more than 1,000 websites. I talk to 3, 4, 5 clients a day sometimes. I'm looking at analytics accounts continuously. So this is, hopefully this is helpful. It's the best I know after 20 years of having done this for 50 hours a week for many, many years. Okay, I'm on OMG, Origin Media. This OMG stands for Origin Media Group. Thank you for volunteering. This is a site that is unusual in a few ways. One is that the navigation is top left hamburger icon nav, even though I'm on desktop. So this is like, and it's sort of an austere approach by ultra minimalism, by hiding all the navigation until the person clicks. I don't really see a benefit in that, especially because the visitor is first asking, am I in the right place? And descriptive navigation labels would tell them the services that you offer. Instead, I have to click to get to that. And here the navigation labels are also not specific. Services about how it works, testimonials, contact, are common to millions of websites. So I'd recommend maybe just listing the specific services, regardless of whether they appear in a collapsed navigation on the or the a header or a horizontal nav across the top. There is a call to action, which is great. Schedule a call. It's great for the reason I just said, because it reduces the perceived commitment. It makes it sound easy. It's just scheduling a call. You know, it's not a big deal. And but it's repeated again and again. I would suggest maybe varying it more. Schedule a call today. Schedule a call. Schedule a call. Schedule a call. There's 6 different schedule a call buttons on this page. So if nothing else, it's an opportunity to vary it or try something else. Also, this site is not using color temperature to guide the eye, leveraging visual hierarchy. Color temperature would be, so the purple, green, and blue are cool, red, orange, and yellow are warm. So on a cool palette, which we're seeing here, even a tiny spot of a warm color would be super prominent. So if this were, for example, orange, which would be classic, that's just an example. It means not being done here. Not necessarily a big lift in the conversion rate from testing button color changes. Everyone kind of goes to that. I don't think that would be a giant improvement, but mostly this is visually prominent because of the white space around it. Also because it's high on the page. In fact, it's a global element. Growing a brand isn't that easy. Thrive, it's a science. I get this message. I think it might be more effective to use that as a subhead instead of as the header, because what this company does is not actually that obvious. Growing a brand could be done through many different channels, many different skills, many different services. So the visitor who is not yet brand aware, who didn't come here because of a referral or because they met this person somewhere, would have to keep looking to find that basic answer, like what does this company do? At this scroll depth, you cannot tell what this company does. Stand out, effectively communicate, grow your brand. As we get down here, there's some data which I really like. It responds nicely on mobile. It's basically highlighting the problem. This is like a sales page, basically, like a sales message. And then we get down here. Short paragraph is great. The formatting is great. The italics and bolding. One-stop shop. Now we finally see the services. If these had been in the main nav at the top, a visitor could have told at a glance what this company does. Also good for SEO. And SEO isn't important probably for this site. In fact, SEO is sort of irrelevant to this website because it is a one-page website. If I navigate to things on here, it just pops me down to part of the page. That's a big problem for SEO because Google doesn't rank websites, Google ranks web pages, and there's only one shot at this. It's not really a keyword-focused page. The other issue is in analytics, this site's gonna have a 100% bounce rate because there's only one page. So this site never really segments the visitor into specific things. David has an awesome page block here. He's being human. I love that. It's a great photo. It's like literally written like a letter. He's signed it. This is fantastic content that I think more people should use. Nicely formatted. That's a great thing. Down here, I don't think that this is likely very effective. The trusted by 500 businesses is nice, but you can't actually see these until you click. I've used Hotjar to check the same thing on my site. I had a carousel for testimonials, and I wanted to see what percentage of people clicked on that carousel because the next slide was awesome. Choosing Orbit was the best decision I've made in 25 years. What percentage of people are seeing that? According to Hotjar, only 5.7% click on that. But the percentage of people who get past that in the scroll depth is 28%. As soon as I stacked those testimonials, this is the older version of my site, I got 5x the visibility on that, right? Sliders are generally ineffective. You're sort of hiding what's on the subsequent slide. I recommend against sliders and instead make just stacking things. 100% of your visitors have their finger on a piece of glass, on a scroll wheel, or on a trackpad. Aiming and tapping is way too much work. So I think it's very likely that these would be more effective if they were more visually prominent, in other words, not hidden inside its slider, and also probably higher on the page. Trusted by 500 business, that's a great message. So basically, if you just said like at the top, what services you offer, and that I would like to see both of those above the fold, the services offered and that you're trusted by 500 businesses, the answer and the evidence. In fact, the top of the page above the fold doesn't have either the answer or the evidence. So that's a few thoughts about this page. There's really not that much to review because it is sort of a one-page website. I'm going to quickly move on to the next one. I love this, but I can't believe how fast time goes. Piece of Cake is a digital marketing services company in Oakville. Cool. Actually, I'm not on the homepage. Let's start at the homepage. Okay, this is also a slider. This slider isn't really hiding important information because these are just sort of simple little messages. So it's probably not a big cost, as in missed opportunity. I'd probably just remove it. This page sort of I love the style. I used to do a lot of this. It was like mid-century modern, super cool. I loved the typeface, but I wonder if these days it wouldn't be better to manage the visual hierarchy. This is not opinion-based. I'm just thinking about controlling the eye. If the range of typefaces was more narrow. I counted more than a dozen type treatments on this page, maybe a lot more. So you can see, like, as you navigate around, there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10. There's so many different type treatments. Oh, this is nice. There's a video on this page. If that video correlates with conversion, which would be measurable in analytics if you set up event tracking on the video, then I'd suggest maybe putting that higher on the page. Bakerling login is the most prominent call to action up in the header. I'm not sure that, I don't know what that means. A good way to look at to audit any web page is to ask ourselves, do 100% of our visitor know what that means? If the answer is not 100%, probably we should simplify the language. If that's a login for current clients, Bakerling, maybe that's a employee. If either current clients or team members, I would probably just demote that to the footer because this is prime space up here at the top. Sure, people can convert by calling or by clicking on this email. Clicking on the email is just going to launch their email program. That's not easy to track in analytics by default. The ideal conversion is when the person fills out a contact form and makes it to a thank you page. Thank you page being the goal in digital marketing. Then you can easily set up a destination goal in Google Analytics, and that goal will show you the percentage of people who take action and let you easily measure the conversion rates for like different traffic sources, people who touch different pages. How to set up Google Analytics. My article and video on this has every step in the process. It is ranking number 4 today. Now that might help. So basically, the other thing I think about this, even though the photography is adorable, it's not personal. I can't really tell who works here. I think that I don't know if it'd be easy to do, but if you somehow, unless that's the stage shot, that would be incredible. I'm not seeing that the team members of this page, so that might also be a missed opportunity. But we do like that the navigation labels are descriptive. Tools less so. The homepage header is not. So it's basically like digital marketing. This reminds me that since this page ranks for digital marketing agency in Oakville, it's targeting a local key phrase. One thing that I'd consider paying attention to in the local key phrase is the use of citations. Are you ranking high in the map? I'm running you through Moz, which is a local listing checker to see if the instances of your name, address, phone number, your NAP, are consistent. The more consistent the instances of your name, address, phone number, the more likely you are to rank high in the map and come up for local key phrases. This is probably relevant to everybody. Basically, it works like this. The big aggregators, Localese, Axiom, Infogroup, and Factual, manage to syndicate their data to everybody else. Those people have their own databases, Yelp and Facebook and YP.com, and then there's the little players who get their data from many sources. When all of these are consistent and when they're all inclusive of you, when they all have you in there, then Google is more likely to believe that there is a business with that in that category, in that location. This is the heart and soul of local SEO. In this case, there are quite a few instances where Piece of Cake has not. Just using Moz Local would probably help a lot for anyone that, they're not in these places yet. There's a couple of missed opportunities. There's a couple of places where it's not consistent. So that would be an opportunity. Moving right along, I'm going to do the next one real quick, and we can take questions. I'll try to leave a minute for questions at the end. This is a website that actually is extremely descriptive. Like at 100% on my screen, it's like very small. It's very minimal. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Small Biz Accountants. What does this company do? Everybody knows what this company does. 100% of people know the meaning of those words. There's no ambiguity. It's totally clear. Bookkeeping, tax, and payroll. So this passes that backyard barbecue test and immediately conveys the business category. Build your package is the call to action. A bit unexpected. I didn't think that accounting was a package, so it's not. I don't think that is as a call to action. It probably there's some differentiation that's happening here. They do it with a package, but it's not described. It's not explained yet, so it's a little bit early. What's included in what? This is a missed keyword opportunity. It's also a chance to just be descriptive, not just for SEO, but for visitors. what's included doesn't actually say what's included. It might be helpful just to kind of call that out. When the most visually prominent thing, what's included, is not also helpful, descriptive, supportive. That's just sort of vague header. I just said, small business accounting fundamentals, and then small business accounting, something more. That would be more descriptive. Also, this looks like a stock photo. Again, a missed opportunity to show your people, show your team. It's just a generic photo of two guys in a coffee shop pointing at a laptop. Pretty obvious. It doesn't bother me at all that these aren't icons. Choosing the icons would not have helped this be a higher converting page, I don't think. So these are monthly packages. I get it. Are a la carte, customized to fit your needs. This is a powerful message, right? It's customized to fit your needs, but it's the first time we're seeing it down here. So there's options here. You can build the package. I would expect actually for some click on each of these at the bottom. In fact, this is like another one-page website. This is a site that doesn't really have the navigation just pops me down. If I exclude the footer and the header, and I just choose, including from this pricing table, the words here, and I count the words, this is literally a 300-word website. The entire website is just 300 words. So I appreciate the minimal style. This is probably way too minimal to be effective at selling. If I called you on the phone and I said, are you going to help me with small business accounting? We would have a 15-minute conversation. You would give me a lot of information. The questions I asked and your answers to them are how to build this page, basically, right? That's the idea. Like, flush this out. Why wouldn't I do this? What am I afraid of doing here? Is this something, again, can I cancel this? Are you going to sell me something I don't need? Oh, it's custom for me? Okay. Who would I work with? What if it doesn't work for me? Hey, I'm different and weird. Every one of our visitors are. Can you help me specifically? So this is just an example of like a probably too slimmed down, tastes like water, ultra minimal style. It's packages for small business accounting, but how is this different, better, specific to them? That's my perspective on that. Going to move right along to the next one, which is CyberTech Web Studios. CyberTech Web Studios has a looping background featured area video. I don't know if that's what they call it. One thing you could call it. And in this case, I think it's a distraction, or at least it's hurting the legibility of the message on top. If you know that to be brand aligned and you want to put that video there, I would just screen it back, put one of those like semi-transparent backgrounds between the video and the text. The world has gone digital. Are you ready? That is not descriptive of what this company does. I guess Web Studios, they're sort of being saved by their logo. It's in the image, which is not great for SEO or anything, but this is sort of saying like, I can't tell at a glance what this does. There is no header. I guess, well, this would be the header. So there's nothing below that. This is the whole page, by the way. The world has gone digital, current state. Okay, so this is a very long paragraph. I'd almost never write a paragraph longer than 3 lines. Never write a paragraph longer than 3 lines. It doesn't align with digital content best practices. People are scanning. They're not going to read every word on a page. So I'd probably break that up. Let us help you stay relevant. How? What is this? This is also just kind of a general statement. There's nothing here that tells me what this company does, except Web Studios in the image. And again, I have to click on the left side hamburger icon, mobile menu, even though I'm on desktop, to see. And then what we do does not actually say what you do. So I'd recommend being more explicit in that. Like if these were navigation across the top, responsive web design, social media integration, this is a great page, right? This is extremely helpful. The fact that this is all on one page makes it a little bit harder for me to say, hey, I got a company that can help with social media. I'm going to send this to my coworker. I can't actually send this to my coworker. I can only send to the whole page, which is called what we do. So make a page per thing. A page per thing gives you ranking potential, gives you a chance to sell that thing specifically. There's something I love on this website. If you go to the About page, that is great content. Who is this? Yeah, this is John Hollingsworth. And John is a real guy. He's got passions. He's living his life. He's in a specific place. Like there's affinity here. If I'm a skier, I'm going to instantly connect with John. I'd probably surface this earlier on the page. Again, I'm going to just pull this up, this B2B, perfect B2B, this little infographic-y thing, which we can share in the chat. So the anatomy of the perfect B2B page. Just look at these sites from that perspective. Descriptive headline, no. Keyword focus, no. Quick visual credibility, no. Meaningful subheaders, short paragraphs, no. Testimonials, strong supportive visuals. Faces of your team, yes, in spades, but it's on a different page. data and statistics, how many companies have you helped over time. So those are all ideas for improving this page. There's something else on this that I really like. Videos. This is a great section. Look, there's all kinds of information here about how you're going to manage your site. I don't want to have to call and ask how I'm going to manage my site. I've never seen a site that does a better job of answering that question than this. Look at that. It tells you every single thing, how to do every single thing about managing your site. If I contact this company, I'm going to have huge confidence that I'll have control over my website because all that information is here. Having said that, this is basically like website editing tutorial, but the navigation label is videos. That's called format-based navigation labels. Nielsen-Norman Group did some research and found that format-based navigation labels tend not to perform well in usability studies because people don't care about the format as much as they care about the topic. So simply by changing this from videos to website editing tutorial, wow, now the visitor is going to know what they get. The goal of navigation labels are to help the visitor accurately predict what they'll get if they click. Format-based navigation labels like videos, white papers, doesn't really say that, doesn't really explain that as well. So I think that this is fantastic content here. I love that it's all here. In a way, it kind of feels like it should be like a class, maybe like a longer thing. This could be like an email class, like sign up. It's not really a call to action to sign up here. This is, after looking closely at this site, this is kind of like, after reading this page, I'm like, oh, totally want to hang out with this guy. John? Yeah, you look legit. Like this is a real company. So getting me that impression earlier, what you do, how well you do it, who you are, and who you do it for. I had to look around a little more than I would hope to get that impression. Moving right along, 10 minutes left, Margella. Margella is another web development firm. Here the navigation labels are quite specific. Am I zoomed out? No. Professional websites, Shopify e-commerce, pricing blog, about webinars. My first thought here is that there's a face. Faces are really powerful formats for images. Babies look at faces more than other images from the moment they're born. Like we just have it is a uniquely powerful type of image. That's why, if you're going to audit a website, just look at it and ask yourself, is there a face on every page? And not a stock photo, I mean like a real person. Why not? It doesn't have to be 100% like premium production quality. Just be real. The goal is to be human. Here's a quick side note, kind of ironic. I meet lots of big companies that say, we want to look like a smaller business. I meet lots of small companies that say, we want to look like a bigger business. Weird, right? In fact, every company should just try to look more human. That's the key to conversion, is being a person, right? Being John, being on that slope, right? It's like being legit. Anyway, back to faces. I'm not sure why, but this, if I open image in new tab, this is actually a big picture that I loaded onto my computer, affecting load time, sort of awkwardly cropped. I think this picture just needs to be cropped. Because I don't think that this woman's shoulders is what you're trying to help me see here, nor do I think that that's very supportive of the message, start your dream business online. This does not pass the backyard barbecue test, but this is a page that leverages color temperature to create visual hierarchy very, very well. It's mostly cool, but then when you look at the warm colors are the action colors. You could ask your question this way: what color do people click on the most? People click on whatever color contrasts the most with the other colors around it. That's called a pattern interrupter. It's also known as the von Restorff effect. Anything that our eyes are getting too much information all the time. So anything that interrupts the pattern, someone's wearing a weird shirt today, or that there's movement over there where there isn't normally, that's where the eye goes. This is actually leveraging the von Restorff effect, but not strategically. This little image, this little movement down here. The only thing moving on the page is just eye candy. Probably wouldn't have used that. So this is again about managing the visual hierarchy. Talk to us is kind of saying that this is an easier click. Schedule a free call kind of says it's an easier click. But basically, like, this is boutique agency specializing in web design, e-commerce, and education. I'd probably maybe put that up there. Is the most visually prominent thing, start your business online. Also the most specific and compelling thing? No, it's not. The more compelling specific thing is down below. Hello there, I like the friendly tone. That's nice. 30 years experience, I just noticed that. Wow, that is evidence, but look, it is small. So, answer evidence, call to action. If that is in fact the formula, the ingredients of a high converting page, this does sort of have the ingredients, but I wouldn't say that they're mixed together in a way that would be the most effective. Client love, I get it. That's good that it's there. It's also fun that it's just called client love. That maybe could be treated differently. If you got a Carrie's face or something, that would help a lot. It's a real person. Work we do together. See, I'm on a nice tall page. And there's other pages for other services. Get more information. This is going to segment me into the main navigation, right? From the blog. The site has an active blog, which is great. Google reviews are a little bit low. Follow them on Instagram. I don't think I would send my visitor to Instagram, because as soon as I get to Instagram, I'm like, oh, wait, someone's following me. Okay, what's happening on Instagram now? Oh, Anton. Hey, Anton, how's it going? Like, look, you lost me. I went backwards through the funnel. I went from the website to the traffic source. You're trying to go the other way. So I know that if there's ways to do that without sending the visitor to Instagram, that might be preferred. You have the same color background in your footer as you do in the previous page block. It's a little easier to, if you tell them that they're at the bottom by creating contrast with the background color or the footer and the previous page block, that might help. Social proof down below. Google reviews. Why even say that's a Google review? Just maybe call out, went above and beyond. Make that say went above and beyond with quotes around it, or definitely recommend. Anyway, this is a site that has a lot of the key ingredients, a lot of the pieces in place. Probably just moving around the visual hierarchy, changing some of the images, maybe dropping that little bit of movement, considering it's not very supportive. If that was right, if that was like an arrow pointing to a call to action, it might be more strategic. Cool. Moving on to the last one, we have just a minute left. This is a website about cars. Book your consultation. It's kind of a landing page philosophy here on this page, trying to get me to take action immediately. If this is not my first visit, this may be perfect. If it is my first visit, I may need more information first. So it's tappable. There's pictures. The images are beautiful. I'm looking at this Mercedes-Benz. I want this. I'm going to share this with my wife. Oh wait, I can't share that. It's there. This is a pop-up. Again, URLs are the currency on the internet. Everything needs to be a page. It's not shareable. It's not rankable. It's not trackable in analytics unless it is a URL. So I'm very cautious about ever using pop-ups for anything. Just make a page for each person, a page for each service, a page for each car in this case. By the way, if I think I like this car, M1, click contact, takes me to the contact page in general, which is not specific to that car I was on. This is just book your consultation. So here are the names of the services. I would consider making those the main navigation probably. That was the contact page. Big tappable phone number, that's probably a good thing. I think we're gonna have to stop right there. So I'll stop sharing my screen, and sorry, there's like 1,000 things I would have loved to have gotten to today, but it's such a short format. Maybe we can do this again sometime. Kimberly,
Yeah. Let's get some questions. All right, so Matt writes, where would you start with leadership to show the ROI of putting more energy and emphasis on content and copywriting?
My best short answer is to show them the competitors and trigger FOMO. It's a sales question. How do you sell something? You've got to trigger FOMO. So when you show like, hey, look, these guys are kicking our ass. They got a way better page. That's way more informative. They're answering all the questions. Look at this. Put them side by side. Say, why do we suck? Maybe that'll help.
I quote, why do we suck? All right, next question. Is there a blog or list that the audience can get of the questions that Orbit asks when starting projects?
Yes, actually one of the better places I put it all is in a YouTube video. If you go to the Orbit Media's YouTube page, there's a video there, it's like 12 minutes, and it walks through exactly what I just did. And so you can pull out every question. We'll also share the slides. It's like probably one of the most valuable videos I've ever recorded, probably one of the least viewed videos I've ever recorded. It's the one with the fewest views, but it's the best one. It's how to increase conversion rates on any website. Orbit Media,
Okay.
YouTube.
Great, I'll dig that up and I can put that in the chat. Doug writes, can taglines be broad and slogans describe what we do more specifically?
Yes, there are taglines that are specific and that indicate what the company does. We saw one site where it was kind of saved by the tagline. It was locked into the logo at the very top. But more importantly, I don't think visitors really care about taglines. And I'm going to say something kind of controversial. Visitors really don't care about brands. Visitors care about their own problems, as in us. We care 1,000% more about our own problems than we care about whatever brand. So brandy websites that just have where people want to really push and where sometimes the brand team really gets their way. They push messages that are not necessarily supportive or helpful or descriptive. or adding clarity. It just sounds, in other words, clarity is way, way more important than clever.
I love that. Clarity over cleverness. Great.
That's a quote from Sonia Simone from Copyblocker.
Can you elaborate on why the anchor text on a page versus multiple pages is bad? We are going that route with our about page, combining multiple pages like leadership and history into one page. Ask Jonathan.
In that example, I don't think there's any disadvantage because an about page is not a page that needs to segment the visitor into deeper topics unless they're looking for like a page about the people sometimes. So I think it's a mistake. Sometimes people make a page for the mission statement with 3 sentences, and then a page for vision, which has 6 more sentences. It's like there's not enough semantic distance between these for them to justify multiple pages with different navigation labels. So jump links for an about page makes perfect sense to me. On the other hand, if navigation is segmentation, then the job is to meet the visitor's specific needs after they click. So for services, definitely should be different pages. About page, I think that's a good example where jump links might be appropriate.
Great. Next question. What are resources, course or otherwise, for conversion optimization that Andy recommends? Ask Katya.
CXL.com. It used to be called Conversion XL. Pep now calls it just CXL. They have mini courses. It's excellent. Also, the Unbounce blog is excellent. Digitalmarketer.com has stuff on everything. But I'd probably start with like a CXL mini course.
Great. And another question, can you address disability access and SEO, please? A bunch of these sites have tiny type, for instance, and I don't know as we move ahead with our site audit, whether any accessibility additions will improve or harm SEO. Thoughts? Right, Kristen.
This is a nice example of where there's a convergence between the requirements of SEO and accessibility. Sites that are descriptive in their navigation labels are good for SEO, good for UX, and good for accessibility. Right. So if a person's using a screen reader and the logo said web services and the navigation below it says what we do, the screen reader didn't pick up what you do because it was in the image. So Google needs keyword relevance to understand what a page is about. Screen readers need explicit copy in the content and navigation to know what the page is about. So I've never heard of any conflict. There's lots of conflicts. Almost every decision in web marketing and digital and web design is like a compromise of some kind, not that one. So all those things that I said, like this page, like that page with just like 300 words, be terrible for a person on a screen reader. They can't really, there's so little information there. They would never convert on a page like that. So access to information is a human right. That's what the UN says, and we all believe it. Accessibility is important. But yeah, there's no SEO impact for gray on white text. Google still can read that. Definitely bad for accessibility though.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. It all goes hand in hand, right? Mm-hmm. When you serve that audience, you essentially serve everyone. So last question, yeah? Or, sure. All right, great. Does Andy have any tips on convincing a client to use more direct, keyword-focused page headings? I often run into clients wanting to use more creative messaging over direct messaging, and it can be hard to navigate that conversation, writes Kinsey.
Yeah, it's this is one thing we've learned over many years is that opinion versus opinion, the highest paid opinion wins. That's called the HIPPO, the highest paid person's opinion. So if you go to a meeting with the client and you give your view and they give their view, you're going to end up making it what they want because it's their website and they're going to win. They hired you anyway. Opinion versus data, the data will win. So that I changed the example, that usability test, putting people first. That client was very adamant about using that. And I didn't try to convince them. Instead, I just made a screenshot of it, had the designer make the one that I thought they should use, made a screenshot of that, uploaded them both to Usability Hub. I think it cost $50. It took like 8 minutes. It doesn't take much time. And the results were so clear that I did not do any analysis. I just sent them the links to those two reports, and then they canceled the meeting. They were like, oh, we get it. Okay, never mind. If your clients saw the confused visitor's face, they would immediately change. So sometimes Hotjar screen recordings, sometimes Usability Hub reports. Basically, don't go to a meeting without data. It's not going to be a good meeting. Where do you get data? Google Analytics, Hotjar, Usability Hub, you know, get yourself some data before you go to that meeting, or else you're not going to win for yourself, for your visitors, and for their results.
Awesome. Well, I know we have gone over the hour. I really want to thank everybody who's joined us this morning. We have more questions that came through, but I mean, it's only because, Andy, you are brilliant and people have so many great questions and they want to pick your brain. Guys,
LinkedIn,
again,
ask me on LinkedIn. Anyone's welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn if they'd like. You can skip the follow button and find the connect button there, and find me there.
fantastic. Well, again, thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good rest of your day, and until next time.
Bye.
Bye.